If you're a parent in today's high-tech world, there are things you need to know about your children and their gadgets. Technology experts say today's parents need to take a hands-on approach when it comes to good digital parenting. Hello and welcome to Comcast Newsmakers. I'm KELLEY, and joining me is Stephen Balkam, the founder and CEO of the Family Online Safety Institute. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, an important topic. I know that you recently did a study dealing with a lot of parents, and you said that out of that study came some good news and then there was some bad news.
Right, so we found that 3/4 of parents see that digital technology has a positive impact on their children's lives, their life skills, their future careers, and so on. And a majority of them also felt that it was good for their creativity. But 44% said that it had a negative impact when it came to things like physical activity and their fitness. In other words, just simply going outside. And 19% of parents admitted themselves that they had posted things that might eventually be embarrassing for their own children. So it's a mixed bag, mostly good news, but some stuff we still need to work on.
Right, and when we talk about best practices, one of them is that you as a parent should be a good role model, so that those 19% of parents who posted embarrassing items, not a good best practices.
No, so we developed something called the 7 Steps to Good Digital Parenting, and it begins with things like talk with your kids, use parental controls. But it ends with be a good digital role model yourself. In other words, don't have phones at the dining room table or at the restaurant. Put your laptops down when your kids come for a cuddle on the couch. Don't text and drive. I mean, put your phones away. Even if your kids are only 2 or 3 years old, they will pick up on what you do as opposed to what you say.
Wow. In terms of privacy, how far do you think a parent can or should go when it comes to basically invading their child's privacy to make sure ultimately that they're safe? Because, you know, there are some fine lines that can be crossed because you don't want to know everything, I can imagine, as a parent.
Right. We say friend and follow, but don't stalk your children. So, of course, when they go onto Facebook, if they get onto Instagram, make sure that you're a friend, and particularly for the younger teens, make sure you have their passwords. But don't stalk them. Don't try and figure out and read every text message, every interchange, because first of all, it's pretty boring. But second of all, we do believe that particularly as a teen grows older, they obviously have an increasing amount of privacy rights themselves. So yeah, it's a fine line, but I think parents can get it right.
You told me about a father who cloned his daughter's phone so he could see every single thing that she was entering in the phone he would see.
24/7, she was 17 years old. He said it was there to protect her. I wonder about that, and I wonder if he's missing out on helping her to build resilience and her own techniques for dealing with cyberbullies and maybe some predators or whatever, because within a year she's going to be gone to college. So no, that is not something we think of as best practice.
Now, was there anything that was surprising to you? I mean, it's not so surprising that students aren't getting, or young people aren't getting exercise. I mean, they're always on their gadgets. But was there anything that really stood out that you said, well, you know what? That's an interesting statistic there.
10% of our parents actually had been asked by their parents to take something down. So this was really remarkable that as many as 10% were admitting that their own kids had already come to them to say, Mom, I don't want that photograph up on Facebook. So yeah, I mean, I think that particularly with the new generation of parents coming through who have always anticipated using social media, they grew up with it. So of course they're immediately going to put up the in utero pictures of their unborn children
right,
all the way through. But now the kids are starting to push back and saying, enough, Mom, put it down.
Because everyone's looking.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of having the conversation, how do you actually start a good communication process with your son or daughter who's been online since they've been literally 3, 4 years old, or some type of gadget, and
right,
now you're coming in and trying to put yourself in their space in that regard?
So we say talk early and often. This is not like the birds and bees talk. This is something that is an ongoing conversation. But we talk about 3 teachable moments. When they get their first phone, which by the way is getting younger and younger, probably around the age of 11. When they turn 13 and they are then eligible for social media sites like Facebook and Instagram. And at 16 when they can drive. Talk to them about not texting and driving. So it's an ongoing conversation, but don't miss those 3 teachable moments.
My final question is, how are schools doing in engaging students in this way to make sure that they stay safe and that they know what to do and how to use social media? Because that always comes into the school system.
Schools really struggle over this issue, not just with the technology they have in the classroom, but particularly the technology that kids bring into the school. That's the more troublesome area, because a teacher could be saying, all right, we're not using technology today, but the kids could have their cell phones under the desk.
And they do.
And they do. The other area that we are finding is that while kids are getting a lot of online safety messages, their parents aren't. So we like to work more, and we do work with a lot of local PTAs and school organizations to give parents the 7 steps and other ways in which they can help model their good digital behavior.
All right, some good best practices that we can all take a little bit away from. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
All right, again, Stephen Balkam, thank you, and thank you for joining us for this edition of Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Candace Kelly.